Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So Republicans taking a state Senate special election in Pennsylvania last week by a ridiculous margin. They won by 37 percentage points. And yes, this is technically a safe red district, but this is still a win, not necessarily in terms of the margin of victory, but how Republicans did it. They're changing the way they view elections, which is exactly what I said that they would need to do in order to remain competitive in the future, especially in states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, even just swing states in general. And this is a very good step in the right direction. I'm going to explain why they exactly did what they did and how they did what they did in order to get this victory. But first, I have to tell you guys about our very good friends over at Noble Gold. Noble Gold Investments is still pleased to let you guys know that gold was the best investment class for 2022. Real estate, crypto, stocks, and bonds, well, gold outperformed them all in 2022, so what are you waiting for? Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands of clients buy real physical gold. Open a gold or silver IRA with Noble Gold Investments this month and receive a free quarter-ounce American Gold Eagle coin with every qualified IRA of $50,000. You can't go wrong with Noble Gold Investments and their thousands of five-star reviews. So, this special election right here, it was very impressive, not basically in terms of the end result. The end result was pretty standard for the district, but how Republicans got there. Because if they kept viewing elections the way they did from 2020 to 2022, they probably would have underperformed vastly and Democrats would be just doing a victory lap. But here's the deal. They actually utilized the current election system and used it to their advantage. And I have to say this time and time again, I don't like the current election system. I don't like election month. I prefer we scale back mail-ins and, the ridiculous month of early voting and ballot harvesting and all these sorts of things. But you're not going to be able to get rid of it if you cannot win with the current election system. You just can't. And where Republicans take advantage of it, like Florida, like some districts in California, what they've been doing recently there, kind of what we saw in New York to an extent in 2022, then it really seems as if they are going to be able to win elections. And in Pennsylvania, voters finally took note of that. And you see this right here, Republicans winning county-wide mail-ins for the first time in history in Pennsylvania. Did it in 2 counties. Yes, still, it is true that a lot of Republicans still are voting on Election Day, which honestly is fine. But the fact that the party is, taking advantage of it, encouraging it a little bit more so they can maximize turnout the way that the opposition is doing is a very good thing. It shows that they're learning from mistakes. They've got a team together. They did it. They worked overtime to get as many mail-in ballots in the drop boxes as they possibly can, the way that the Democrats do. And guess what? It paid dividends for them. It did. They tested it in deep red Pennsylvania, and it worked. And they got their staff together, and they got all these new applications, and the new applications went Republican by an 8-1 margin. That is an insane margin. That's like what we see the other way for Democrats. So Republicans are taking note, because you do have a lot of elderly people who may not like the system because a lot of Republican leadership have been trashing the system, and rightfully so to an extent, but it's kind of hurting them because a lot of these people can't make it to the election day voting site on election day, and it is going to be a massive problem. And I don't believe Pennsylvania has early in-person voting the way that Florida does. So you look at that there, well, it really does seem as if Republicans are starting to take advantage of the system, which is insane, and they beat the midterm level Democrat mail-ins in just one election on a county level, which is insane. So either way, they're using these tactics that the left uses to our advantage, and it's working for them. And this is something that we need to take into consideration in terms of winning future elections, because Republicans in 2018 got bit in the rear end in places like California, in a lot of these districts, because they had something called ballot harvesting. The left took advantage of it. The right trashed it, and maybe for some good reasons. But then when they started to learn how to use it to their advantage in 2020, 2022, they started to flip seats Republican in California. They haven't flipped a seat Republican in California since, I believe, the 1990s. So you're seeing some reversals even in these deep blue states where Republicans are taking advantage of it, because a lot of these voters who are apathetic, you got to reach them. This is the map right here. You look at where it's legal. It's legal in the states that are blue and the states that are yellow, although there's kind of differing legalities between that. But you look at states such as Pennsylvania. You know, if it's legal there, it's legal in Nevada. You look at this. Nevada, we lost Nevada in the Senate election by less than 10,000 votes if you adjusted the rural percentages to what Trump got in the rural areas in 2016 or 2020 in some of these counties, not even adjusting for the suburbs, because Laxalt overperformed in them. But the rural turnout was meh. But if it was actually increased to a certain amount and they used the election system in order to increase it by as much as possible, guess what? Adam Laxalt would be in the United States Senate. You look at how poorly Republicans are at turning out voters without Trump on the ballot in places like Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Even when Trump is on the ballot, they still leave a lot off the table because they don't have this apparatus. Democrats have been pretty competent ever since their stunning loss in 2016. Well, Republicans need to learn from their losses and get a little bit more competent, beat the Democrats at their own game, because it's very possible. In pretty much every single swing state you look at here, besides Wisconsin, which is actually the state that we've kind of been doing better in compared to Michigan or Pennsylvania in terms of the whole Rust Belt 3. So what needs to happen? Well, Republicans need to build up their operation, get every ballot they possibly can get into that ballot box by Election Day. And that was part of what Harmeet Dillon was running on for the RNC chair. Sadly, she lost. I don't really trust McDaniel to do this nationwide thing, but, you know, statewide GOPs are a lot easier to infiltrate, especially in these states like Michigan and Pennsylvania, where there's just such weak leadership. So we easily could get these things done, and you saw it get done in Pennsylvania, which is a huge positive. It is something to be, I guess, excited about if they're able to do this moving forward, because if they are, then I really think that there's a very good chance that Joe Biden could be defeated in 2024. You have to look at mechanics, you have to look at messaging, and you have to look at money, the 3 M's. That's really what's going to do it right there. So Republicans need to be very smart about how they navigate this moving forward. And you look here and you look at these counties right here, the deeper, I guess, brown or orange counties tend to have more white, non-college educated voters. That is the Republican voter base. They need to go to these counties, just look at a map for once, just chase the voters that they can to turn out for them, and it's going to work wonders. You see, you know, Republicans with their voter drives in South Texas in 2020. You saw counties shift vastly to the right there. Obviously, it's not going to be enough to counteract other trends in the state of Texas, but still, you're looking at this and you're seeing the fact that there is a wide potential for Republicans to turn out voters. Is what, like 45 million plus non-college educated white voters in this country who are not even registered, but they're eligible voters? Yeah, they need to get on that. They need to understand that. And if they're able to do that, they could reach maximum turnout levels possible. They need to go chase every voter, put their own drop boxes up, monitor them effectively, of course. And at that point, they're going to be able to do very well in ensuing elections, and the future could be bright if they could actually get their messaging in order. But if they keep going down this road of, oh, we're going to run elections like it's the 1980s and the 1990s, guess what? They're going to keep losing, and it's going to be abysmal. They're going to keep having underperformances, and they're going to become a regional party, if that, after a certain point, because we know if Democrats take power, they're going to do anything they can do to give amnesty to the probably 20+ million, if not even more, illegal aliens that are currently in this country, because we know it's skyrocketing under Biden. and nothing is really being done about it. And the second an amnesty wave comes, well, you could say bye-bye to a lot of states like Arizona, Texas, even Nevada. You'll see the rightward trend shift left. Georgia will be gone for good, even though there's probably not even that many there. And even states like Michigan and Pennsylvania are going to be harder to win. So you look at this here, and it's very important that Republicans get their act together. They can't afford to keep losing elections. Biden may be unpopular, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be somebody that could be easily taken out or defeated, because Democrats know how to game the system. But if Republicans can learn from that and they could increase these rural turnout in these counties, well, then they're going to be able to win. But if not, you're going to see 2022 all over again. Doesn't matter who the nominee is. 2022, I mean, you look at Pennsylvania's Senate race, Dr. Oz didn't even do super poorly in a lot of these suburban counties. However, when it came to the rural areas, he completely bombed in turnout. You might be able to blame some of that on the fact that he had some, past socially liberal stances or whatever. Even Trump's base didn't particularly like him a whole lot, even though if McCormick was nominated, he would have had similar problems. And it really didn't seem like whoever was nominated from that field would have stood a chance. But either way, the bottom line is that the voters you need to win are rural voters you need to turn out. And certain candidates failed to exactly do that. And as a result, they fell short, and a lot was left off of the table. And Republicans now currently do not hold the Senate, despite having a president with an abysmal approval rating and having a decently favorable map for them. So it's the 3 M's, it's mechanics, it's money, and it's also messaging. Republicans kind of are struggling in all three. Fixing the mechanics is arguably the most important thing, though, because how do you win elections in this country? Get as many ballots in as possible. Score as many points as you possibly can. That's how you win. Everything else doesn't exactly make a difference in that regard, although you could argue that money would help mechanics. Messaging would help inspire voters. It would help turnout. So a lot needs to be changed, but you look at the mechanics of it. If Republicans actually are starting to get their act together in more places like they did in this special election, that's very, very good news for them in the future. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.